Hello, everybody. So, today, as mentioned yesterday, we will be doing a pictures of the day. And today will be sort of a simple, lo fi thing like the past, what, 5 other episodes of this? Because I have work at 3 in the morning and I need to go sleep relatively soon. So, with that being said, let's sort of get into it. And today's pictures are all from the time I drove from Colorado to Seattle. So, this will be in Oregon. Right here is just a little tucked away building. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but this was when I was, I think, a town not too far from Portland. I think it was about, I guess maybe not too far is a bit of an understatement. I think it was about an hour or so away. But yeah, it was, what was it, last summer where my dad and we drove my great granddad's car after he died. We drove it from Colorado to Utah, and then during that little short stop at Utah, my dad and sister switched spots, and then my sister and we drove from there to Seattle, and we stopped through Oregon. We had several stops, and it was just her and I in a little Mercedes convertible, so it was quite cool. I will put a little picture of the Mercedes right here. I won't do too much crazy editing since, yeah, I just want to talk about this and then go right to sleep. So, yeah, here's just a little building that I saw on my walk. We had a bit of a mechanical issue with the car because we sort of drove up the side of a mountain in Wyoming. We were going to stop by the pristine waters. I think that's what they're called. But yeah, we sort of went down this dirt road for about 2 hours, and then we continued. It was a terrible night, and we popped a hole in our transmission pan, so oopsies. We had to get to a European mechanic as soon as possible. We didn't realize that it was transmission fluid as well, so we were just like, okay, it's just oil. But we made it, and the car did not seize up on us, so it worked out just fine. But anyways, these pictures that you'll be seeing today are from when we dropped off the car and we had sort of a day out and about in Oregon, and we both sort of went our separate ways. I think she went back to the Airbnb that we were staying, but I decided to walk from downtown to the Airbnb, which was about, what, 5 or 6 miles away. So I was out for a while. Here is a cool little shot. I thought the adult shot was kind of funny, and I just liked this composition as I was walking around, so I just shot it, and it was kind of cool. I think I could probably figure out where it was that we were in Oregon, so I'll find that out shortly and put it sort of on the screen. So yeah, with that being said, just a cool little monochrome shot of some store, I guess, billboards. Ooh, this fella. Like I said, I was just walking around town for several hours, probably much longer than I should have been. My legs were just about giving out right after that. But yeah, I just saw this fellow with his electric bike, and he had a crazy wispy beard, so I thought, might as well get a picture of him, and I did. So yeah, and that whole trip, we were just sort of hanging out, and we drove, what, like 6 hours a day or something like that. But it was very memorable. A lot of different pictures come from that time period. I think the next pictures of the day will be sort of a part 2 of the Colorado to Seattle road trip, and they won't exactly be in order of like the day by day thing, but it'll have pretty similar. Like today is like, oh, walking around the street, and then next time maybe it'll be the first day that her and I were driving together, and then we took a bit of a 3.5 hour detour on accident, so that was kind of cool. And we drove down a dirt road again, but much better kept. Anyways, that I'll save that for the next episode. Here, I'll just talk about this lady. I think she was sitting outside of a like less fortunate housing or something along those lines, and she was just reading a book and smoking a cigarette. And I mentioned previously that I like cigarette pictures, so I thought I should try and get this. And it was a bit of an awkward shot to get because I was shooting essentially behind myself because I was walking. I didn't want her to notice that I was taking pictures of her, but I think it turned out pretty alright. At the very least, we got it. So I think it was worth it. Next we have, so there was, I guess, like a train downtown, sort of like on a track that it was not in service anymore. A lot of graffiti on it. There was a lot of graffiti in general while I was walking around, and this was just a cute little ghost in a tent. So, not too much to talk about here, but yeah, I shot quite a bit of monochrome. There will be a few color shots in this, but yeah, I think myself, I really do just love monochrome. I don't know what it is about it, but it just sort of clicks in my head, and it works. So, yeah. Ooh, this is another cool piece of graffiti. I just really like, I don't know how gritty this cross looks. And they got the Star of David on it for some reason. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's a Jewish symbol with Jesus. So it's sort of conflicting. I don't know if they thought of that when they made it, but it does look quite nice. It just says Jesus saves, and it's a Star of David. So this is just down. Oh yeah, here's the train right here. And the ghost, I think, is behind me as of right there. So, yeah, just a nice little picture. Okay, here is I think it was just a vulture. I can't recall the particular kind, but during my, I guess, stint out there, walking around, I walked a 2-mile trail, which we'll be seeing sort of the entryway and not too much inside the trail because I was mostly just walking it. But anyways, there were these vultures sort of flying around. Maybe they're buzzards rather. Anyways, really red face, very prominent, and that caught my eye even from all the way down on the ground. So I just took a few exposures of that. This one I just like how the wings are shaped, so that's why I picked it for this video. Next we just have a squirrel, kind of just hanging out. This was in the trail, and yeah, there's not really too much to talk about here. It's just a squirrel, so we'll move on. Okay, this one I can chat about a little bit more. I don't exactly know this man, but I thought he looked interesting enough to sort of like stop and watch him walk along. He was sort of on the trail with me the entire time. Like, I would stop and take pictures, and he would like gain ground on me, like get past me, and then I would walk, I would catch up to him and pass him. It was sort of just a cycle. So here there was like sort of a divergence in the road, and he took this way, and yeah, he walked the whole trail. So good for him. He's just getting his steps in, I think. And he seemed like a nice fellow. He might have. There was a couple that they told me that there were owls, like in the trail, like in the woods, like that day. I didn't see him, but anyways, just a cool looking guy rounding the corner. So yeah. Then we have, this one is just sort of a very visually interesting picture to me. Not because it's in focus or anything like that. Actually, it being out of focus is really cool to me. It's almost like the bird hasn't loaded in yet. You didn't unlock the bird yet, dude. So I just am very, despite it not being in focus, you can't really tell what's going on. You still know it's a bird, and it's just about perfectly centered. I was really happy with this picture, despite usually wanting, oh, perfect focus, want that eye in focus and whatnot. I just think it looks neat. It looks cool to me. And it's got fully spread wings, and it just whizzed right above my head, so I think it's cool. It's neat. Next we have just a little flower in the field. I really like the bokeh effect on this one. I think I was shooting with my 50mm lens at the time, which has quite a low f-stop, which means it has a shallower depth of field, which creates that blurry background that you're seeing right there. So just a cool little flower. Oh, next we have this tiny little spider. I sat down on a bench just to like rest my legs for a little bit, and this fella crawled on my hand. I think it's like a tiny little jumping spider because it was hopping around. But yeah, I caught it in my lens. I have a screw-on lens that is like a two-part or a two-piece, I guess, construction where you thread it onto the other piece and then you thread it onto your camera. And I had it in between the lenses. And I just caught it and then sort of set the picture up and took this neat little macro shot of it. And okay, so there was either a dead millipede, I think it was a millipede. Anyways, I was really just messing with macro sort of that day, and I was like sort of enamored by how much of a glow or like a fuzzy, dreamy, ethereal feeling this particular picture had. So, and also it's like a creepy crawly bug, so I just thought it was neat. And then we have this little bird. This fella, he just kept on diving towards me, and then it would fly back to this little branch, and it was possibly like protecting a nest, but there wasn't a nest that I saw around anywhere. So maybe this bird was just an asshole. I don't know. But it just kept on like screeching at me and pestering me. I could not believe it. I've never seen a more aggressive bird. But it looks kind of cool. Like, I like its little striped head with the black sort of surrounding the white. It would have been a neater bird if it was a bit more friendly. But oh my god, what a fella. Okay, so here is the bridge that leads to the trail. So over there is a globe and an auditorium, I think is what it is, where like it's very echoey and like it's good for, I don't know, performances and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, I crossed this bridge, and behind the picture, essentially, there is the trail. And yeah, you can see downtown towards that way. And I think, there we go. Here's a shot of the globe and the bridge in the same shot. And of course, we switched back to monochrome because I like it so much. And yeah, I just thought, wow, I really like how this looks. Something about this almost swaying over the globe. If this bridge extended further, who knows, maybe it would like encompass it. Oh, and there's some people like crossing the bridge as well, so that was kind of cool. But for the most part, it was just these two subjects that I really wanted to get together, and I did it. Okay, so there are two pictures of this fella right here. And I guess the context behind this is I do a lot of downtown photography, do a lot of street photography, and this fellow, he almost looked like a religious figure to me, like the way he would posture his hands and things like that. The next picture will be even more so, but I took, I don't know how many pictures of him, at least 60 within the 2 minutes that I was around him. And before, you'll see a picture that I took to sort of distract from me taking pictures of him. Like, oh, let me get a picture of this building. Anyways, he just looks so visually intriguing to me with like the blankets draped over him, the way, I guess he has a very, what's it called? I wouldn't say battered look, but he's certainly more downtrodden than most, but he still looks really cool. And here it is. So he would just like make these gestures and point and just do these interesting looking things. And I really, really liked how it looked. So I took as many pictures as I realistically could of him without getting sort of like not too close per se, but without getting caught. Because, that's sort of the whole thing with street photography. You sort of want to do it discreetly as best you can. And yeah, I did a pretty great job because he didn't know a single thing. And now here is the picture that I took before I took those pictures. I was like getting myself ready with my settings and whatnot. And yeah, this skyline is actually quite nice, despite it being almost not even a throwaway shot, but like a distractor shot where I'm throwing the subject that I really want off of my trail. But yeah, I like how the light post is sort of right in the, I guess, crux of these two buildings, and it just looks kind of neat to me. I really like the wispy clouds and the colors of I sort of miss shooting in color sometimes because it can look really, really nice, like this one right here. So I think I'll be doing that a little bit more. Anyways, I think this might be the last picture. There was so much like poetry slop written all over the town. It was interesting to me. There was quite a vulgar one that I did not put in here because it's quite bad. I'm not gonna lie. I think, well, I won't get into it, but this one, which is kind of a silly little girl damage, girl healing. What meaning can you reap from this? What does this mean? If you know, please tell me. I don't get it. I guess I'd have to be a girl to understand. Anyways, it was just kind of a neat little weird thing to sort of see around town. I've never really seen a lot of that back in Alaska, nor even here in Arizona. So maybe it's just an Oregon thing. I know they have like a very, I guess, open drug, I wouldn't say policy, but like you could do whatever you want basically over there. So maybe this is a product of that. And let's see. Yeah, that is the last picture. So with that all being said, I will, tomorrow, I have work, and I think after that I will probably make another one of these videos, and shoot, it's either that or I'll be writing a script for the next real, I guess, video project where I'm out and about doing things. So with that being said, if I don't upload tomorrow, that's sort of the reason why. And if I do, obviously you see a video. So with that all being said, that is the end of the video. I'm going to go slip into bed and hopefully get, I don't know, 3 hours of sleep at the very least. So I hope to see you guys in the next video.